9. Beloved Amen actors who tragically passed away. Then and Now, 2026. Do you remember the laughter and lessons of Amen, the sitcom that once filled living rooms with faith comedy and community spirit? Behind the applause, however, were hidden tragedies that claimed the lives of 9 beloved stars. From sudden illnesses to heartbreaking struggles, their journeys remind us how fragile fame can be. Some left quietly, others amid controversy, but all left a mark that cannot be erased. Stay with us as we reveal the untold then and now stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because their legacies deserve to be remembered. Sherman Alexander Hemsley. Sherman Alexander Hemsley was born on February 1, 1938, in South Philadelphia, a place where poverty and resilience often walked hand in hand. Raised by a single mother after his father abandoned the family, young Sherman knew the taste of struggle early on. He dropped out of high school, enlisted in the U.S. Air Force, and later worked as a postal clerk, all while pursuing his true passion, acting. At night, he studied drama at the prestigious Academy of Dramatic Arts in Philadelphia, a bold decision that revealed his unshakable determination. By the late 1960s, Hemsley had made a name for himself on Broadway, performing in the hit musical Purlie. His talent soon caught the eye of television pioneer Norman Lear, who cast him as George Jefferson in All in the Family, 1971. That role quickly spun off into The Jeffersons, a groundbreaking sitcom that ran for 11 seasons, cementing Hemsley as one of the most recognizable comedic actors in American history. Though adored for his fiery, fast-talking TV persona, Hemsley in real life was the opposite: quiet, reserved, and deeply private. In 1986, he embraced another defining role as Deacon Ernest Fry on Amen. For 5 seasons, he brought to life the stingy yet oddly lovable church deacon, adding a sharp comedic edge that made audiences laugh while also reflecting on community and faith. What set Hemsley apart was his ability to create complex characters who were both flawed and endearing. His performance gave Amen its backbone and helped the series become one of NBC's most memorable sitcoms of the late 1980s. Off-screen, however, Sherman Hemsley led an unconventional life. He never married and had no children, fueling public speculation about his sexuality, particularly because he lived for decades with his close friend Kenny Johnston. Despite rumors, Hemsley remained silent, focusing instead on his work and his passion for music. In 1992, he even released a funk album called Dance, surprising many fans with his hidden artistic side. But in the early 2000s, Hemsley's career slowed. He took on small guest roles and occasional commercials, sometimes reuniting with co-star Isabel Sanford, before her death in 2004. In July 2012, tragedy struck when Sherman Hemsley passed away at his home in El Paso, Texas, at age 74. The cause was superior vena cava syndrome, a complication of lung cancer. His death, while peaceful, sparked an unexpected and very public legal battle. A man named Richard Thornton came forward claiming to be his half-brother, contesting Hemsley's will, which left everything to Flora Enchinton, his longtime companion. This dispute kept his body in limbo for nearly 4 months until the courts ruled in favor of Enchinton. Do you think Hemsley's intensely private lifestyle was a strength that protected him, or a burden that left too many questions unanswered? Finally, on November 9, 2012, Sherman Hemsley was laid to rest with full military honors at Fort Bliss National Cemetery, recognized both as a veteran and an entertainment icon. His life journey from a struggling boy in Philadelphia to a sitcom legend remains a testament to perseverance. Though the spotlight sometimes misrepresented who he truly was, Sherman Hemsley's legacy endures in every laugh he inspired, every barrier he broke, and every memory of a character that felt larger than life, yet deeply human. Jester Joseph Hairston. Jester Joseph Hairston was born on July 9, 1901 in Belews Creek, North Carolina, at a time when racial segregation shaped every corner of American life. His father died when he was still a child, leaving his grandmother to raise him. The struggles of poverty did not break his spirit. Instead, they nurtured a resilience that would later fuel both his artistry and his lifelong mission to preserve African American culture. Hairston studied music at Tufts University and later at the Juilliard School of Music, where he trained as a classical composer and choral conductor. His deep baritone voice and his uncanny ability to bring traditional spirituals to life set him apart. In 1936, he joined Hall Johnson's choir and soon began composing his own works. Over the course of his career, Hairston would compose more than 300 spirituals and gospel pieces, among them the iconic Amen, which became a cornerstone of African American church music and was famously used in the 1963 film Lilies of the Field. Although his contributions to music were monumental, Hollywood often placed Hairston in small, stereotypical roles. He appeared in To Kill a Mockingbird as a quiet father and in the Heat of the Night as a servant, roles that reflected the racial barriers of his time rather than his true potential. Yet even in these small appearances, his authenticity shone through. His most recognized television role came decades later when he played the wise and gentle Raleigh Forbes on Amen from 1986 to 1991. As Raleigh, he represented stability, humor, and spiritual wisdom, giving audiences a character who felt like a real member of their own community. Despite his television fame, Hairston always remained true to his musical mission. He became a cultural ambassador for the U.S. State Department, touring across the globe to share African American spirituals. In 1985, he made history by conducting a choir in China, introducing traditional black spirituals to audiences who had never heard them before. For countless students and young musicians, he was not just an artist, but a storyteller who connected past struggles to present hopes. Do you think Hairston's decision to embrace smaller roles rather than rejecting Hollywood altogether helped ensure that African American culture still had a place on mainstream screens? In his later years, fame did not bring him comfort. He often felt overlooked, underpaid, and isolated despite his remarkable accomplishments. Still, he continued teaching, conducting, and preserving music until his final days. On January 18, 2000, Chester Hairston passed away in Los Angeles at the age of 98. He was laid to rest at Inglewood Park Cemetery, leaving behind a vast legacy that spanned both music and film. Chester Joseph Hairston may not have been the loudest star in Hollywood, but his influence echoes wherever gospel choirs sing his compositions. His life stands as a powerful reminder that greatness is not always measured in leading roles, but in the depth of cultural heritage one preserves for generations to come. Rosetta Lenoir. Rosetta Olive Lenoir was born on August 8, 1911, in Harlem, New York, at a time when the neighborhood was pulsing with the Harlem Renaissance. Her early life, however, was anything but easy. As a child, she suffered from severe rickets, a bone disease that forced her to wear leg braces and made even the act of walking painful. Her godfather, legendary tap dancer Bill Bojangles. Robinson took her under his wing and encouraged her to pursue the stage. His guidance would set the foundation for a career that spanned more than half a century. Lenoir began her journey in the 1939 musical The Hot Mikado, and from there, she slowly built her name in an industry steeped in racial discrimination. She often played maids or minor characters, yet she refused to let the industry's limitations define her. Instead, she invested her energy into creating opportunities for others. In 1968, she founded the Amos Repertory Theater in New York, using her personal savings to provide a stage for black performers and actors of diverse backgrounds at a time when Broadway remained overwhelmingly white. Her philosophy was simple but revolutionary. The stage should not discriminate. If you have talent, you deserve to stand on it. Through Amos, she helped nurture countless careers, and her work directly contributed to the growing visibility of black performers on Broadway. This fierce advocacy earned her the National Medal of Arts in 1999, one of the highest honors for any American artist. On television, audiences came to love her portrayal of Leola Forbes in Amen. From 1986 to 1989, she embodied the character with strength and dignity, reminding viewers of the resilience of black women who stood firm against life's injustices. Later, she reached an even larger audience as the warm and witty Mother Winslow on Family Matters, where she appeared in nearly 100 episodes between 1989 and 1998. But off-screen, Rosetta Lenoir's life was far from simple. She endured a broken marriage and difficult family relationships, including reports of a strained bond with her son, who struggled with addiction. Rumors also circulated about her being too controlling at Amaz, accused of favoritism when it came to casting. Yet even her critics admitted that without her relentless drive, many young performers would never have had the chance to be seen. Do you think Lenoir's uncompromising approach made her a stronger advocate for diversity, or did it create unnecessary conflicts that clouded her legacy? In her final years, Lenoir lived quietly at the Lillian Booth Actors Home in New Jersey, battling both diabetes and pneumonia. On March 17, 2002, she passed away at the age of 90. She was laid to rest at St. Francis of Rome, Catholic Church in the Bronx, closing the final chapter of a life marked by struggle, advocacy, and triumph. Rosetta Lenoir's story is one of survival, determination, and legacy. From a frail child fighting rickets to a matriarch of American television and a champion for Black performers, she broke barriers and left behind a cultural inheritance that continues to inspire actors today. Elsa Raven. Elsa Raven, born Elsa Rabinowitz on September 21, 1929, in Charleston, South Carolina, grew up in a traditional Jewish household where discipline and expectations ran high. From an early age, her mother tightly controlled her choices, even pushing her into the performing arts before she was ready. While this discipline gave her the structure to thrive as an actress, it also left scars of anxiety and perfectionism that followed her throughout her career. By the 1950s and 1960s, Elsa was steadily working on stage and small screen projects. Unlike many actresses who yearned for leading roles, Elsa embraced supporting characters. She believed that even the smallest role, if played with honesty, could stay with audiences long after the credits rolled. Her meticulous approach became legendary among colleagues. She was known to carry old scripts with her, and would often clash with wardrobe departments because she insisted every detail of her performance had to feel authentic. Her television career reached a highlight when she played Inga on Amen between 1988 and 1990. Though her role lasted only 2 seasons, she infused the character with quirky humor and warmth, leaving fans with unforgettable moments. Later, she became globally recognized for one of cinema's most heartbreaking scenes as Ida Strauss in Titanic, 1997, the elderly woman who chooses to stay by her husband's side as the ship sinks. That brief but powerful performance earned her the admiration of millions who wept at the courage and devotion she portrayed. But while audiences saw her as lively and heartfelt, Elsa's private life told a different story. She never married, had no children, and often lived in solitude. According to friends, she struggled with bouts of depression, especially as Hollywood increasingly overlooked older actresses. Yet she never stopped working. Her voice was heard in American pop. Her face appeared in Wise Guy, and she continued to take on roles in both film and television well into her 70s. Do you think actors like Elsa, who made careers out of unforgettable supporting roles, deserve more recognition than they usually receive? In her later years, Elsa retired from the screen, living quietly in Los Angeles. She continued to attend small community events but largely remained out of the public eye. On November 2, 2020, Elsa Raven passed away at the age of 91 from natural causes. Her remains were cremated with her ashes returned to her family. Elsa Raven's story reminds us that greatness in Hollywood isn't measured only in stardom. Her performances proved that a supporting role could be just as powerful, sometimes even more so, than a lead. From her quirky humor in Amen to her soul-stirring presence in Titanic, Elsa's artistry carved a permanent place in the hearts of audiences worldwide. She may not have lived her life in the spotlight, but she left a legacy that continues to shine quietly and profoundly. Franklin Vincent Ellison Seals. Franklin Vincent Ellison Seals was born on July 15, 1952 in Caliacqua, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, a Caribbean island where opportunities for actors were scarce. At the age of 8, he moved with his family to Brooklyn, New York, where he discovered both the richness of American culture and the painful realities of racial prejudice. From an early age, Seals gravitated toward performance studying at Juilliard and dedicating himself to craft with a discipline that impressed his peers. His early career was promising. In 1979, he delivered a chilling performance in The Onion Field, portraying convicted cop killer Jimmy Lee Smith, a role that won him critical acclaim. Later, he appeared in Silver Spoons in the 1980s, showcasing his comedic timing alongside his dramatic skills. Yet despite undeniable talent, Seals often found himself caught between identities. In casting rooms, he was told he was too Caribbean to play American roles and not black enough for others. These labels not only limited his opportunities, but also left deep emotional scars. In 1986, Seals took on the role of Lorenzo Hollingsworth in the first season of Amen. His character, a polite, rule-abiding accountant, was intended to bring balance to the show's lively cast. While the role didn't last beyond season 1, Seals brought nuance and quiet depth to Lorenzo, reminding audiences that not every character had to be larger than life to leave an impression. Behind the camera, his personal battles were far more intense. Seals was openly gay in private circles at a time when Hollywood remained hostile toward queer actors, particularly black men. According to some accounts, a failed relationship with a powerful producer led to his being quietly blacklisted, further closing doors that should have been open. By the late 1980s, he began showing symptoms of illness, persistent coughing, and fatigue that would later be diagnosed as AIDS. Instead of seeking treatment, Seals, raised in a deeply religious household, reportedly struggled with shame and denial. Do you believe the stigma of the 1980s AIDS crisis silenced too many talented voices like Franklin Seals, preventing them from receiving the recognition they deserved? Tragically, his career unraveled as his health declined. Without a wife or children and estranged from much of his family, he lived his final years in quiet poverty in Brooklyn. On May 14, 1990, Franklin Seals died at just 37 years old. His ashes were scattered in the Caribbean Sea, a symbolic return to the homeland he had left as a child. Reports suggest that at the time of his death, his estate amounted to little more than $100,000, a modest sum that felt unworthy of his gifts and sacrifices. Franklin Vincent Ellison Seals' story is one of immense promise cut short by prejudice, stigma, and illness. Though his name is not as widely remembered as some of his peers, his artistry still resonates with those who witnessed his performances. He stands as a reminder of how many voices were lost to both Hollywood's discrimination and the devastating toll of the AIDS epidemic. Montrose Hagans. Montrose Hagans was born on June 3, 1924 in Charlotte, North Carolina, into a family that valued education and faith. Her father was an Episcopal priest, a role that deeply influenced her sense of discipline and spirituality. For much of her early life, acting was not even a dream. She chose stability first, earning a degree from Temple University and working as a high school English teacher in Philadelphia. For decades, she shaped young minds in the classroom, never imagining that her second act in life would bring her into America's living rooms. In her 60s, when most people were retiring, Montrose Hagans made a bold leap into acting. Her warm demeanor, commanding voice, and ability to deliver wisdom with humor made her a natural fit for motherly and grandmotherly roles. Casting directors were drawn to her authenticity. She embodied the strength and grace of black women who had endured and persevered. Her most prominent television role came in 1989 when she joined Amen, replacing Rosetta Lenoir as Leola Henderson Forbes. Hagans stepped into the role seamlessly, playing a caring but firm matriarch who brought depth and emotional grounding to the later seasons of the show. Audiences quickly embraced her not as a replacement, but as a woman who infused her character with fresh wisdom and heart. Beyond Amen. Montrose Hagans built an impressive resume in Hollywood during the 1990s. She appeared in Seinfeld, The Golden Girls, Touched by an Angel, the Jamie Foxx show Sister, and Homefront. Though often cast in supporting roles, she elevated every scene she was in, proving that even small parts could leave lasting impressions when performed with sincerity. Do you think actors like Montrose, who came into the industry later in life, bring a depth that younger performers often cannot capture? Unlike many in Hollywood, Hagins never chased fame or headlines. She approached acting as an extension of teaching, another way to touch lives, to deliver lessons, and to reflect truths. She managed to own 4 homes over her lifetime, a quiet testament to her practical wisdom and careful planning. To colleagues, she was admired not only for her professionalism, but also for her humility. After retiring from acting in 2005, she chose a peaceful life on a historic farm in Pennsylvania. Surrounded by nature, family, and the memories of a remarkable late-blooming career, she remained content and away from the public eye. On October 24, 2012, Montrose Hagins passed away at the age of 88. She was laid to rest at Green Hills Memorial Park in Rancho Palos Verdes, California. Montrose Hagins' story is unique among the Amen cast. She was not a child of Hollywood, but a woman who built a rich first career in education before becoming a beloved actress. Her journey reminds us that it is never too late to pursue one's passion, and that sometimes the roles we play in our later years can be the most meaningful. Barbara Montgomery. Barbara Montgomery was born on June 25, 1939 in Queens, New York, into a community where artistic expression and social struggle often intertwined. From the start, she had a fierce intellect and a love for storytelling. She pursued theater at Emerson College and later trained as a stage actress, developing a reputation for her sharp voice, disciplined craft, and ability to command attention on stage. Before television ever came calling, Barbara was already deeply embedded in the world of experimental black theater, where she challenged norms and helped open doors for marginalized voices. In the 1970s, Montgomery became a fixture at the La Mama Experimental Theater Club, a groundbreaking off-Broadway institution. There she helped pioneer productions that told authentic African-American stories, earning critical recognition and eventually winning the prestigious Obie Award for her contributions. This early career not only proved her talent, but also established her as a trailblazer for black women in theater. Television audiences came to know her best in 1986, when she joined NBC's Amen. Playing Cassietta Hedebrink, the stern but devout older sister in the church community, she embodied a woman whose moral compass often steered heated debates toward clarity. For 4 seasons, she gave Cassietta a strong presence that balanced both humor and conviction. Fans loved her no-nonsense attitude, and her chemistry with the rest of the cast made her a standout in the ensemble. Then, just as suddenly as she appeared, Barbara disappeared from the series after season 4. There was no farewell episode, no closure for Cassietta. Speculation swirled among viewers. Some whispered of disagreements with producers, while others believed she had left to pursue new opportunities, including the short-lived sitcom Married People in 1990. Regardless of the reasons, fans were left puzzled by the abrupt loss of a character who had become a staple of the show's identity. Do you think Amen should have given Cassietta a proper send-off, or was her sudden disappearance part of the mystery that kept fans talking for decades? Behind the screen, Barbara's career remained steady, though not without challenges. She made guest appearances in shows like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Living Single, but Hollywood's typecasting and limited roles for older black women prevented her from ever landing another role as iconic as Cassietta. Later in life, she turned to directing helming the 2013 film Mitoti, alongside the legendary Ruby Dee. This move behind the camera showed her determination to stay creative even as acting opportunities grew scarce. Financially, her career was modest. By some estimates, her net worth hovered around $500,000, a figure that felt small compared to her decades of work and cultural impact. In her later years, she retreated into privacy, rarely appearing in public granting interviews or taking new roles. Barbara Montgomery's legacy is that of a quiet trailblazer, an actress who burned brightly in the 1980s and left audiences wanting more. Her story reflects the struggles and triumphs of countless Black actresses who fought for visibility in an industry that too often overlooked them. Though her role in Amen ended without closure, her impact on fans and her contributions to Black theater ensure her name will never truly fade. Clifton Duncan Davis. Clifton Duncan Davis was born on October 4, 1945, in Chicago, Illinois, into a family that valued both faith and education. His father was a Baptist minister, and his upbringing was steeped in the rhythms of the church. This early exposure to spirituality and music would shape his future both as an entertainer and as a man of faith. Davis initially pursued a career in music, and by the early 1970s, he had already made his mark as a songwriter. His most famous composition, Never Can Say Goodbye, became a hit for the Jackson 5 in 1971, proving that his talent extended beyond performance to the very craft of song itself. But Davis's life was far from easy during those years. The sudden fame and success were accompanied by a destructive battle with cocaine addiction. In interviews, he later admitted that his life spiraled dangerously out of control in the late 1970s, a time when he nearly lost both his career and his sense of self. It was only through faith therapy and a renewed commitment to his spiritual roots that he managed to overcome addiction and rebuild his life. In 1986, Davis took on the role that would define his acting career, Reverend Reuben Gregory on NBC's Amen. As the charismatic young pastor, he balanced humor with heartfelt wisdom, creating a dynamic on-screen chemistry with Sherman Hemsley's Deacon Fry. Reverend Gregory was portrayed not just as a leader, but as a man grappling with real-world challenges of community morality and love. His romantic tension with Thelma Fry, played by Anna Maria Horsford, became one of the show's most beloved storylines. Unlike some actors who faded after their sitcom fame ended, Davis thrived. He continued to act on television and stage, appearing in Broadway productions like Aladdin and Wicked, as well as films such as Any Given Sunday. He also became a frequent face on Christian broadcasting networks, seamlessly blending his artistic talent with his ministry work. His ability to cross between sacred and secular spaces made him a unique figure in American entertainment. Do you think Davis's openness about his struggles with addiction made audiences connect more deeply with his later roles, or did it risk overshadowing his accomplishments as an actor and minister? By the 2000s, Davis had fully embraced his role as both an artist and a man of God. He was ordained as a minister and began leading services while still performing on stage and screen. In 2024, nearly 4 decades after Amen, he surprised audiences with a return to television in CBS's Beyond the Gates, proving that age had not dimmed his charisma. As of 2025, Clifton Duncan Davis is 80 years old and still active, splitting his time between ministry organizing gospel events and acting. He also runs the nonprofit Welcome America, which works to foster community and cultural pride. His net worth is modest compared to Hollywood elites, but his wealth lies in the lives he has touched through both his performances and his faith. Clifton Davis's journey is one of survival, redemption, and purpose. From writing hits for Motown to embodying Reverend Gregory, he has shown that true artistry comes not only from talent, but also from the courage to face personal demons and transform them into a testimony of hope. Anna Maria Horsford. Anna Maria Horsford was born on March 6, 1948 in Harlem, New York, to immigrant parents from Antigua and Barbuda. Growing up in a vibrant Caribbean-American household during the height of the Civil Rights Movement gave her both cultural pride and resilience. She studied at the High School of Performing Arts in Manhattan and trained at the Joe Papp Public Theater, where her early stage work sharpened her natural charisma. By the late 1970s, she was already appearing on PBS's Soul and building a reputation as a versatile actress who could balance comedy and drama with ease. In 1986, Horsford landed the role that would define her career for millions of viewers. Thelma Fry, the spirited daughter of Deacon Ernest Fry, on NBC's Amen. For 5 seasons, she portrayed a woman both strong-willed and tender-hearted, navigating romance with Reverend Reuben Gregory while standing up to her father's stubborn antics. Audiences loved her for bringing warmth, wit, and relatability to the character. Thelma's journey wasn't just comedic. It gave viewers a rare look at a black woman balancing tradition, love, and independence on national television. Her success on Amen opened doors, but Horsford never allowed herself to be pigeonholed. She took on dramatic roles in films like St. Elmo's Fire, 1985, and Set It Off, 1996, and later made audiences laugh again in the hit comedy Friday, 1995, as the unforgettable Mrs. Jones. She went on to appear in The Shield, Grey's Anatomy, and The Last OG, proving her range stretched far beyond sitcoms. Unlike many peers, Horsford avoided the tabloid scandals that often plagued actors of her generation. She built her career slowly, relying on consistency and professionalism. Her work in daytime television as Vivian Avant on The Bold and the Beautiful even earned her 2 Daytime Emmy nominations in 2016 and 2017. Beyond acting, she became a cultural ambassador for Antigua and Barbuda in 2011, proudly embracing her Caribbean roots while also serving as a mentor within Hollywood. Do you think Anna Maria Horsford's ability to stay scandal-free has helped her career endure, or has it made her less visible in an industry that often thrives on controversy? Financially, her career has been steady but modest, with an estimated net worth of around $500,000 as of 2025, proof that dedication and resilience, not fame, have been the foundation of her life. Today, at 77 years old, she remains active in television, continuing her role on The Bold and the Beautiful, while also engaging in community work. She is also a proud member of the Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, further reflecting her commitment to sisterhood and service. Anna Maria Horsford's legacy lies not just in the laughter and drama she brought to screens, but in her example of endurance. From Harlem's stages to network television and beyond, she showed how an actress can maintain dignity, embrace cultural identity, and stay relevant across decades. For fans of Amen, she will always be Thelma Fry, the daughter who held her own against her father's stubbornness while carving out her own destiny. Roz Ryan. Roz. Ryan born Rosalind Bowen on July 7, 1951 in Detroit, Michigan. Grew up surrounded by the rich sounds of Motown. Long before she became a familiar face on television, she was a nightclub singer, pouring her heart into smoky lounges and jazz clubs across Detroit for more than 13 years. Her deep, sultry voice made her a local favorite, but few could have predicted that one spontaneous audition would change the course of her life forever. In just 10 days, she landed on Broadway in Ain't Misbehavin', a leap that catapulted her from nightclubs to center stage. Her theatrical career flourished. She went on to perform in Dreamgirls South Pacific, and most famously Chicago. Over the years, Ryan would break records by becoming the longest-running actress to portray Mama Morton on Broadway, a role she performed more than a dozen times. Her powerful stage presence and remarkable endurance made her a legend in musical theater circles. In 1986, Ryan joined NBC's Amen, portraying Amelia Hedebrink, the bossy, church-loving eldest Hedebrink sister. With razor-sharp comedic timing, she created a character who was both hilarious and instantly recognizable to audiences. Amelia was loud, nosy, and full of opinions, but Roz Ryan infused her with warmth that made her more endearing than irritating. For 5 seasons, her chemistry with Sherman Hemsley and the rest of the cast kept viewers tuning in week after week. When Amen ended in 1991, Ryan's career didn't slow down. She transitioned seamlessly into voice acting, where her unique voice became her signature. Millions of children and adults alike came to know her as Thalia, the witty muse of comedy in Disney's Hercules 1997. She later voiced characters in Looney Tunes Adventure Time and Transformers, proving her vocal versatility was just as powerful as her stage presence. Do you think Roz Ryan's decision to diversify acting, singing, and voiceover was the key to her staying relevant in an industry that often sidelines women as they age? Beyond her career, Ryan's life has been one of resilience. She faced a divorce and raised her son Dante as a single mother, balancing work and family without scandal or tabloid drama. Friends and colleagues often describe her as grounded, hardworking, and fiercely loyal. Even in her 60s, she continued to thrive, performing on Broadway, appearing in television shows like Barbershop and The Ricky Smiley Show, and producing independent films like Nikita Blues. As of 2025, Roz Ryan is 74 years old and still active in the industry. She continues to perform in theater and lend her voice to animated projects, maintaining a net worth of over $1 million. Though she may not be Hollywood's wealthiest star, she has carved out a legacy of consistency and longevity, something few can claim in such a competitive field. Roz Ryan's story is not one of tragedy, but of survival and reinvention. She remains a living reminder that artistry is not limited to one stage or one medium. Whether belting out songs on Broadway, cracking jokes on Amen, or voicing animated characters loved by generations, Roz Ryan has proven herself to be a performer whose legacy will endure far beyond the spotlight. Bumper Robinson. Bumper Robinson, born Larry Clarence. Bumper Robinson II, on June 19, 1974, in Cleveland, Ohio, entered the entertainment world at an age when most children were still in elementary school. By the time he was 8, he was already appearing on television, his youthful charm and natural ease in front of the camera setting him apart from other child actors. In a business where many young stars fall victim to early fame, Robinson demonstrated a maturity beyond his years that helped him navigate the industry's pressures. His early resume was extraordinary. In the 1980s, he appeared in hit shows such as The Jeffersons' Punky Brewster Family Matters Night Court and Hill Street Blues. He even played the son of O.J. Simpson's character in the 1983 television movie Cocaine and Blue Eyes. Then, in a twist of fate, he later portrayed a young O.J. Simpson in the 1995 biographical film The O.J. Simpson Story, a rare full-circle moment in Hollywood. In 1990, Robinson joined the cast of Amen in its 5th and final season, playing Clarence, a sharp, streetwise teenager mentored by Sherman Hemsley's Deacon Fry. While Clarence was not the show's central focus, Robinson infused the role with energy, humor, and heart-giving. Amen, a youthful spark in its closing chapter. Fans still remember him for bringing authenticity to a role that could have easily felt forced in less capable hands. As Robinson matured, he made a critical career decision. Instead of chasing fame as a leading man, he transitioned into voice acting. It was a move that paid off. His vocal range and versatility brought to life some of animation's most beloved characters. He voiced Bumblebee and Blitzwing in Transformers, the animated Falcon in Marvel's universe, and Cake the Cat in Adventure Time, Fiona and Cake. These performances earned him recognition from fans across generations, often without them realizing the same voice was behind so many characters. Do you think Robinson's choice to pivot into voice acting was a way to protect his longevity in Hollywood, or did it limit the visibility he could have had as a live-action star? Still, Robinson never abandoned live-action work. He guest-starred in popular series such as Bones, CSI NY Sabrina, The Teenage Witch, and The Game. He even ventured internationally, collaborating with Dennis Hopper on the co-production Flatland, filmed in Shanghai. Unlike many child stars who fell into the traps of addiction or financial ruin, Robinson carefully built a steady career, avoiding scandals and focusing on artistic independence. Financially, his career has brought him stability. By 2025, Robinson's net worth was estimated at around $2 million, not the staggering wealth of Hollywood's elites, but a reflection of consistent, smart choices. Now 51 years old, he continues to thrive in the world of voiceover, while taking occasional television and film roles, maintaining a steady balance between professional success and personal fulfillment. Bumper Robinson's story is remarkable because it defies the tragic narrative so often tied to child stars. Instead, his journey is one of adaptation and reinvention. From sitcoms like Amen to animation studios and international projects, Robinson represents a new kind of Hollywood survivor, one who turned early fame into a lifelong career. Though 9 beloved stars of Amen have left us, their stories still echo with lessons of resilience, heartbreak, and legacy. Some found peace after long struggles, while others were taken too soon by illness or silence. Their lives force us to ask, was Hollywood a stage that celebrated their talent, or a machine that overlooked their humanity? Drop a 1 if you believe their contributions were honored enough, or a 0 if you feel they were undervalued. Let's debate their legacy together right here on Legends of Black Excellence.